What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Friday night's interactive sports talk. You know who it is. It's your boy, D-Box, joined as always by my co-host, the one and the only.
Cool McCain.
And
Yes,
together,
sir.
we are the Play
Play
Callers. Cool, man. What's good with you?
I cannot call it, man, but there's nothing bad with me. That's the important part.
That is the important part right there, man. So, quick shout out for those who do not know, we are a part of the Sideline Sports Network. So, want to give a shout out to our piece over at Sideline Sports, and we're actually gonna have
sir.
one of our Sideline Sports people on with us tonight. Jordan Long's gonna come on and talk a little Broncos along with some other stuff with us. But really give us the in depth. And we're going to have another guest on to talk about the Ravens, who actually joined us a couple weeks ago. So we're going to give those guys the floor for that particular game and let them battle out for 12 rounds and see if we can figure out who's going to win that game.
Should be interesting, man. Should be interesting.
Mixing all my sports metaphors, you know what I'm saying?
You got to use them sometime. Sports show makes good sense to me.
Yeah, man. So we got some NFL preview stuff to obviously go over. I already mentioned we're going to do that Broncos-Ravens game. You know we got to talk about Tom Brady going back to New England for the first time.
Juicy, juicy, juicy.
You know, that's a big one. And then we also got that Chargers and Raiders game, which is not a game that a lot of people probably expected to be meaningful at this time of year. But both teams playing very well.
Oh, yeah.
So be an interesting game to talk about there as well. But that's not all we got. We got some other stuff. And I'm going to kick it off with a topic that I know is passionate to you and I. Dude, what in the HE double hockey sticks is happening at ACC right now?
You know what's happening? They're playing like sugar honey iced tea. All of them. I just want to say, Miami, you had the game. You played bad, you had the game. You missed the field goal to end the game. You missed a 33-yard field goal. This is the type of juju. I don't know what's happening, but the ACC just has bad juju right now, man. It just is what it is.
Bro, it is absolutely crazy what's going on with the ACC right now. So here's my question I want to ask you. And maybe later on when our guests come on the show, we can ask them their thoughts on this as well. What do you see happening for the ACC right now? I mean, Clemson, 2 losses, they're done. Even if they win out, there's not going to be a statement win on their schedule that's going to really get them back into the conversation. Even when the ACC championship is probably not going to help them. So, out of the other teams in the ACC, is there someone else you see who might be able to convince the committee that as ACC champion, they deserve an opportunity?
No. Because quite simply, there can be no signature wins. There's no one that can really have a signature win. So even if you're like Virginia, or some of the other teams in the ACC who haven't had multiple losses like Boston College, if you're one of those teams, you're not going to play teams that are quality enough the rest of the season to put you in the conversation, even if you win the ACC. At the end of the day, as of this point, 100% real and honest, there is no ACC representative in the college football playoff. There's not. There's 2 from the SEC. One of them is replacing what the ACC person would be. You're going to probably get somebody from either the Big 10 or the Big 12 and maybe somebody from the Pac-12. But the ACC is done. It's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ACC kind of year in and year out, this is the problem that you even have as the conference champion, right? Is that you don't necessarily have a marquee win. But when you are a big name program, Florida State was in this conversation for a number of years when they didn't really play any other ranked teams. Clemson's been in this position the last few years. If Miami could ever actually get these stuff together, they'd be back in the same conversation. Because of the name recognition, you can still get in.
Right.
I'm agreeing with you that I don't think that a team like a Wake Forest or a Boston College has the name recognition to go along with it. I think they need that big signature win to actually get in, even as a conference champion.
There's just no way you can play to get a win. So I mean, it's done, man. Like, it's done. Maybe next year. It's one of those. Maybe next year's.
Now, I will be curious to see what ends up happening with players, because I know right now there's this foregone conclusion that the SEC is going to get in 2 teams.
They are.
Well, here's my one scenario that I'm looking at that is a very real possibility, and it makes me wonder if this might mess that up and what would be the repercussions of it. Let's say that Florida beats Georgia and they go to the SEC championship game. Well, you're not going to have Georgia, who lost to Florida and didn't even get to the SEC championship game, get in.
If they only have one loss, they'll still get in.
So if Georgia or if Florida goes to the SEC championship and loses to Alabama for a second time, it might be difficult to argue for them to get in. Because are you going to really give them a third shot at Alabama?
No, if Georgia's only loss is to Florida, they'll still get in.
It's a possibility, but the committee has shown that if you don't make your championship game, you don't get in.
Unless you're in the SEC.
Well, unless you're Alabama.
Well, so far, unless you're in the SEC. Because there hasn't been another one-loss or no-loss team besides Alabama that's been in that position. But as well as Georgia's played this year, if they have no other losses, they will put them in even if they don't make their championship game.
Okay. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, man. We'll find out. But
they've shown us that they've set the precedent for it. They've shown us that they'll do it. That's the thing that I think people aren't realizing. Like, it's really a situation where if you're an SEC team, all you have to do is make sure you have one loss or less, especially this year when the ACC is completely down. That's going to get you in. And you think about Ohio State, embarrassing loss already. So winning, the Big Ten is not going to be the same just because of Ohio State being down, and that's their cash cow. That's kind of like their Clemson. Yeah. So when you lose some of those people, it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, I want to play, I want to have guys do their thing, but at the end of the day, you're not going to have a resume. The resume to me is more important, and it's already been set up and shown that being a one-loss team in the SEC gives you a better resume than either a conference in the country at this point. Even if you don't make that championship game, if that's your only blemish, they're going to put you in because, like I said, the ACC is not getting in, so there's a free, nice, open spot, and we all know who they want to have that spot, and they'll find a way to make it happen.
I mean, it's definitely a realistic possibility you float out, man. I'm not disagreeing with you whatsoever. Just kind of playing the angles here, man. Just playing the angles a little bit, playing a little devil's advocate. Not a blue devil, though, because I'm not from Duke.
Now, if Georgia has 2 losses in this scenario, that might be different. But if it's only one, I think they're in.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to definitely be interesting, man, because this is not what anybody saw coming. That's for sure.
Definitely, man. Clemson's been a big disappointment, but so has North Carolina, so has Miami. So there hasn't been one team. There's been a plethora of disappointing ACC teams. And when you do that to yourself, when everyone shoots themselves in the foot, man, then it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Make sure you include my Seminoles in that list, man. I know we didn't come in with national championship aspirations this year, but we haven't even met the low expectations we did have. So, so if you can't even meet your low expectations, you deserve to get put on that list.
It happens, man. So, something I want to talk about real quick. I know we have a lot of things to discuss. We obviously don't ever get a chance to get to everything. We're talking about an hour here. Is Joel Embiid's comments in regards to Ben Simmons. I don't know if you saw the comments or not, but essentially what he was saying was this team that they're on was built so Ben Simmons could be Ben Simmons. He could be the ball handler. He could do this. He could do that. They brought in Al Horford for Ben Simmons. They got rid of Jimmy Butler, who Joel Embiid still thinks is a bad idea for Ben Simmons. So they've done everything to coddle to Ben Simmons, and yet he still wants out. Embiid's basically sounding to me at this point that he's like, screw you, Ben Simmons. We don't need you. I hope you're gone. So now you're getting the real main star of the team coming out now, starting to say, like, look, man, they've done everything to coddle to you, and now you're still mad, and you're still upset, you're still being a crybaby. Bye. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Well, I also saw the comments where he came out talking about if the Sixers were to offer him up to Golden State. So to me, that kind of comes across as very, very reminiscent of the whole Shaq and Kobe thing, where it's like, hey, you got to make a choice because we're not playing together next year, one way or the other.
Well, in fairness to Embiid, the question was asked if they were looking to trade him to Golden State for those players, how would he feel about the trade? And he was like, I would do that trade if I were y'all too, if that was offered up. But Golden State's not going to offer up what the hypothetical situation was. There's no way.
I mean, but just the fact that he was willing to actually give an answer to that question, to me, speaks.
Because at the end of the day, he knows the trade's not going to happen because they don't want to play with Ben Simmons either.
But I'm looking at it more from the standpoint of, I think that's his way of basically coming out and saying, not necessarily trade me, but like, look, y'all got to get rid of this dude because I'm done.
Well, the thing is, he's not going to show up, so they're pretty much done. It's one of them situations where I think if he's really so resolute and not playing, sit out for a year then, player. Sit out. Yep. Don't talk about it, be about it. Sit out for the whole season. Show us how tough you are. Show us how real you are. We're going to see.
Look, and why you out for that? Look at why you out for that year. Go work on your J.
Here's the thing, man. You don't have a jump shot. You know what I'm saying? You have poor constitution. You know what I'm saying? You're in a city, and I'm a big Eagles fan, so I know about Philadelphia, where you will get dogged and ate up for being a chump. And Ben Simmons is looking like the king chump. Carson Wentz 2.0 right now. So guess what? You ain't getting no love in Philly like that. So you're going to be out of there. They're not going to accept you back. That fan base is not going to accept you, blood. You had your shot. You blew it. So now all you can do is sit out and be a softie. Enjoy it. And while you're not getting paid this year, think about was it worth it.
I feel you on that, man. So while we're on the topic of basketball and guys showing up or not showing up, there's a couple of intriguing stories going around, in particular with the Brooklyn Nets, because you have some guys who, for whatever reason, one or the other, have chosen to not be vaccinated. And I'm not going to get into why people don't get vaccinated or if they should or any of that stuff. But some states have said, if you're not vaccinated, you can't be in the arena. That includes players. So,
New York.
How are you going to play in a state like New York or California that has passed these laws? You can't even play none of your home games.
You're not. And guess what else you're not going to do? You're not going to get paid for it either.
Yeah.
So guess what? At the end of the day, you want to be a professional athlete, right? You're going to have to make a decision. Do I want to play or do I want to not get a shot? And they're not giving any exemptions. They're not giving any exemptions for religious purposes. They're not giving any exemptions like if you're one of those people that are high risk. They're not giving any exemptions. You get it done or you don't play.
Exactly.
My thing is, you got to make a decision. You're going to have to go to LA. I know it's LA. I know it's also California. I think there was a third place, but and then more could come up because I think it's based on how bad the pandemic situation is still in those areas.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you want to play NBA, NFL, MLB, face the facts. you're going to have to get vaccinated or you're going to lose a whole boatload of money.
Yeah. And if
You know
you're
what I'm
cool with
saying?
losing that money, then so be it. But,
And not only losing money, you're hurting your team because at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are not the seventh guy on the bench that never plays. Nobody cares if that person shows up. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about stars or starters. We're talking about Andrew Wiggins. He's one. We're talking about Kyrie Irving. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of names, but I'll just throw a couple out there for you so you understand the type of guys we're talking about. We're not talking about guys that don't play in games. We're talking about guys who are very important to their teams.
Right.
So I'm going to need for y'all to understand this is a thing that's not going to go away. You're not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to get vaccinated based on my beliefs and expect it to go away. It's not going to go away. Right. If you want to be successful, if you want your teams to be successful, if you want chances to win championships, you're going to have to get vaccinated, bottom line. NFL put their line in the sand. Yep. You don't get vaccinated and you miss games, we're forfeiting the whole team, not just you. We screwing over the whole team. And I'm going to tell you, if I'm a player and I got vaccinated and I got somebody on my team that wasn't, I'm an NFL player, look at where you're going to go get the shot. I'll take you.
Yeah.
Word up.
I mean, look, man. I'm curious to see what some of the long-term ramifications is going to be on a guy who chooses not to get the vaccination and ends up hurting his team. Because you're going to have some friendship ends over this. Durant and Irving wanted to play together. So if I'm Kevin Durant and I'm focusing on trying to get a championship, and you're like, well, hey, man, guess you and James Harden going to have to do it this year. I'm not going to be there, or I'm only going to be there part-time.
Right.
That's probably not going to go over well. Because there's going to be hey, I respect your decision, but you messing with my money. You messing with my chance to get a ring.
You messing with my cheddar.
Yep.
We don't like that.
So,
you get bonuses for winning championships.
So definitely a situation we will keep an eye on as we get closer to the kickoff of the NBA season and kind of see how many of these guys will go ahead and get the vaccination, how many are actually going to just hold out and not do anything.
Right.
So we'll see.
So
I know you did have one other basketball topic you want to talk about real quick too.
We can let that one go. It's good.
Okay. Catch that one on another week.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I see both of our guests have showed up down here in the green room. Not sure if they're both ready to come on just yet, but we can go ahead and get them on here in a minute. So we can go ahead and do the NFL picks. I know you have to actually bounce out a little early tonight. Go do the soccer dad thing. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll go ahead and get those NFL picks in a little bit early. I did not have a chance to go through and see how we ended up doing with our picks last week. I don't know if you had a chance to or not.
I did not.
If not, we'll just update people next week.
I did not.
Yeah, the picks are there forever and ever, so they can go look it up.
Yeah.
They really need to know how we did that badly. They can go check it out.
Yeah, we can shoot them an update later. It'll be all right.
So before we jump into that, man, do you have an audible that you want to do for this week?
I do. So I want to call an audible on fan expectations for rookie quarterbacks. Every rookie quarterback that has played so far this year is not playing well. There's a lot of hype in the preseason, a lot of hype on during the draft, a lot of hype at the beginning of the season to get these guys on the field. Particularly Justin Fields, a whole lot of hype from him from the preseason. Trevor Lawrence from the beginning, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. I could honestly say after watching these guys play, I don't know how anyone expected them to keep Cam Newton on that team if Mac Jones was a starter. Those fans would have been calling for Mac Jones probably week 1 if Cam was on that team. That's why I said before, Cam was either going to start or he was going to get cut. They were not going to allow Cam Newton to be there because they knew he was a better quarterback. They knew it.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way you can stop it is you got to get rid of him. So you win the game, you win the job, or you get out.
Yeah.
That's basically what that was going to be. Now, these other quarterbacks, here's the thing, man. They have to learn. You wanted them in the game, they're going to get baptized by fire. Justin Fields has played one game, and now I don't hear a lot of Bears fans anymore saying, oh, we want Justin Fields, we want Justin Fields, because now you're understanding that he's not ready.
Right.
The only team that's looked smart in this whole debacle has been the 49ers. The 49ers have said, we have a guy that's better than Trey Lance right now. Trey Lance is going to sit. He's going to have a couple of plays scrambled in here and there. For the most part, he's going to sit and learn.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Jacksonville, you had Gardner Minshew there. He's a guy that could have started if you gave him a fair opportunity, right? But Urban Meyer didn't do that. Urban Meyer had him moved to Philadelphia for a late-round pick. So now you took a guy that could have been better to give Trevor Lawrence time to adjust to the NFL, and you moved on from him. Right? The Jets, you had to move on from Sam Darnold. He looks a lot better now that he's had a couple of years under his belt with Carolina with some weapons. So you're looking at these situations and you're saying to yourself, if you're a fan of any of these teams, a lot of you guys were calling for this. A lot of you guys wanted this. You're getting it. Be careful what you ask for. These guys are not ready. The NFL is a completely different thing. If you take that Jacksonville Jaguars team, the Houston Texans team, the Giants team, the Jets team, the teams that you think are the worst, and you put them up against Alabama, they will spank them. So understand the difference in talent, the difference in scheming, the difference in coaching, the difference in the speed of the game. These guys are not ready. You wanted them, so now you're going to have to sit and eat these L's while they learn.
So, man, we didn't even talk about this ahead of time, but it's like we had the same conversation. Because my audible this week, sir, is about the aftermath of Sunday. If you watched Sunday Night Football, you know that the 49ers made a comeback from being down 17-0, took the lead with 37 seconds left, and because of a couple of missed opportunities on defense, allow Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, to get into field goal range and win the game. Now, that kind of thing happens every year, even to teams that go on to win a Super Bowl. But to hear 49ers fans and to hear the national media, the sky is apparently falling in San Francisco. And the answer is to put Trey Lance in, which is asinine 10, 11, and 12.
Don't forget 13 and 14.
Listen, Jimmy Garoppolo is not a top 10 quarterback. I'm not even here to pretend otherwise. But you know what? Last play, just a little over 2 minutes on the clock, or last drive, excuse me. Everybody knows you have no running game right now. Everybody knows you got to drop back and throw the ball. You have tight coverage. You had a pass rush getting after you. Jimmy Garoppolo took the team down the field. No running plays, all passing. Took the team down the field and scored the go-ahead touchdown. It's not Jimmy's fault the defense couldn't put the game away with 37 seconds left. So all these Niner fans over here, oh, we need to get Trey Lance in. We need to get Trey Lance in. He's not ready. Go back and listen to what my co-host just told you about these rookie quarterbacks. Go back and watch the one time that Trey Lance threw the football on Sunday night. He didn't look comfortable and he got bailed out by a pass interference call. He's not ready, people. He'll be there. And when he gets there, the offense is going to be scary. But you got to have patience. And now I got the media running around bringing back up, oh, you know, Tom Brady wanted to play for the 49ers in his career there. Of course he did. He grew up a 49ers fan. I don't need reporting to tell me that. That's freaking obvious. when I look at the situation, and now I'm seeing, because some players came out and was like, the coaches will have to go back and kind of figure this out or whatever. And then some of the coaches were saying, hey, we got to execute plays better. Now all of a sudden, there's apparently dissension amongst my team, and the players are blaming the coaches, and the coaches are blaming the players, and we have all this stuff. Keep talking. My co-host over here knows what happens when y'all start flapping your gums and you start talking about what's going on inside of a team when you don't actually know. You drive that team together. So go ahead, keep talking. But that's my audible this week. It's on all these fake 49er fans, all these stupid 49ers fans, and on the national media who covers the 49ers trying to stir a controversy. So that's my audible for the week, sir. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest here so we can do our picks real quick. And then I'm going to turn it over to these gentlemen, let them talk about their game for a little bit.
Let's go.
Why you disappear into the night? What's going on, fellas?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So we are going to go ahead and do our picks for the evening real quick. And we're going to have you guys join in on that as well.
Absolutely.
So first up, we got the Tennessee Titans at the New York Jets.
Titans.
Titans.
Yeah, even without Julio and AJ Brown, I'm still taking the Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Kansas City.
No, but I will say I wanted to add something to the whole point which I was talking about rookie quarterbacks and stuff. If it wasn't for Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan coming in and being as successful as they were, then Russell Wilson coming in, then Roger Griffin III, like that's the reason why. Back in the day, it used to take 4 or 5 years before you would judge a quarterback on its play. Now it's 1 or 2 years. Look at what happened to Josh Rosen and look at what happened to one or other quarterbacks. It's 1 or 2 years now. And a lot of teams don't realize why they keep being in the same position as they were before.
Yeah, you got to give them time, man. I'm also going to go Chiefs on that game, by the way.
But Jalen will be fine, cool. Jalen will be fine.
Oh, I'm not worried about Jalen. Only people worried about Jalen are idiots.
All right, we got Panthers at the Cowboys.
Dallas.
I'm gonna go Cowboys in a tight game. I want the Panthers to win, but I don't think they can do it without McCaffrey.
I agree with Cool. I'm going with Cowboys in a close game.
I got Dallas at 10. I think Dallas is going to come up and really surprise people against defense because, granted, they have played good teams. They haven't played an offense as well-tuned as this Dallas offense is. And so we're going to see how they handle Cooper, Gallup, Pollard out the backfield, and even that tight end Jarwin is starting to get involved. And Dak is there. He's not there. He's there.
I'm also picking Dallas. We got the 0-3 Giants at the Saints.
New Orleans
I'm gonna go 0-4 Giants.
I'm gonna go Giants actually as well.
I'm going Saints.
I think you misheard me there, Cool. I said I'm going 0-4 for the Giants. I'm picking the Saints, sir.
Yeah, you the lone.
I'm going to Giants. Yeah,
you the lone wolf. You the lone wolf.
Yes. You know why?
The Cleveland Browns at the Minnesota Vikings.
Pattern.
Cleveland.
Browns at Vikings. Cleveland. Vikings blew games late. They always blow games
I've
late.
got Cleveland too.
I got Kirk Cousins showing people that he's not that guy and giving a pick 6.
Oh, I got Kirk Cousins throwing for 400 yards and still losing the game.
I'm also going to go Cleveland. The Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears.
I'm going Detroit.
I am too. I'm picking them to get their first win.
To me, it depends on what quarterback. I'm going Bears.
I got to go anybody against the Bears right now. They're in the boat with the Texans with me right now because they don't have a quarterback.
After just playing this team, I'm going with the Lions because I see what they can do with and figure it out. I'm going with the Lions.
So speaking of the Texans, our next game is the Texans at the Bills. Is anybody going for the Texans?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Just going to save some time on that one. Colts at the Dolphins.
At some point, Indianapolis is gotta get a win. I keep seeing
I'm
the
gonna go
game
Colts.
get the chance to win. At some point, they gotta get a win. They have to just get a win.
I
But
agree, and I think this is the week.
is Quinton
Yeah, I
Nelson
mean,
playing?
Jacoby Brissett is their quarterback. So, I mean, he's
But
a
it's
serviceable
Quinton-
dude, but he's not.
I'll go
Definitely.
Colts as well. That's just I don't like how Brissett's been playing.
Yeah.
In a battle of 1 and 2 teams, we got the football team at the Falcons.
I'm going to go football team.
Football team.
I'm going Falcons because I think I don't think people really understand how lack of a quarterback that Washington has. Everybody bought into the Heineke hype from last year. I don't see it. I never have. I will take Matt Ryan because that secondary has not been playing well and that pass rush has not been getting there. I will take them to beat the Washington football team. And what is probably an upset because I think they're underdogs.
I mean, I'm taking the Falcons too. They're at home. I think that gives them a slight edge. The Seahawks at the 49ers.
This is a hard one. Both of them are not. I think I'm going to go 49ers, actually. This is a hard one, but Seattle seems that just something's not right with it right now.
I think the X factor is going to be Russell Wilson, just his ability to get out of the pocket. I'm going Seahawks.
I'm going 49ers.
I'm looking at the fact that this 49ers offense has struggled to get any kind of consistency. As Seattle defense is beyond horrible. This is the week to get it right. I'm going to take 49ers in a close one because it's always a close one.
And they
49ers and Seattle's play.
They struggle against covering tight ends, and you got one of the best tight ends in the game.
That's true.
Who by the way, is highly questionable and may not play.
Jamal Adams is worse at coverage than his possibility of being questionable playing.
Now this is a tough one here. Cardinals at the Rams.
I like how the Rams are playing. I'm going with the Rams.
Cardinals.
Rams.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go Rams.
We're gonna see who. It depends because Jalen's obviously going to take away DeAndre or whoever he's lined up against.
You can't take away DeAndre.
He has before.
He hasn't taken him away. He's held him, but he can't take him away.
If you keep DeAndre Hopkins under 100 yards, that's basically stopping him. The Steelers at the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers.
I'm going Packers.
Definitely
they're my rival, but I'm going to think Pittsburgh because for some reason, just when you count them out and they go against a team that appears to be better, that is when they kind of reinforce themselves and they come out and they somehow just win. And the next thing you're sitting there trying to figure out, do we believe in this team or do we not?
That never happened last year, so I'm not assuming this.
Remember, they had the 11-0 start though. That's what happened for them because they were picked to finish second.
Yeah, but we spent the entire 11 games telling people how they were overrated and they weren't that good.
Yes, we did.
All right, so the game we're going to be talking about a little bit later. Cool, we're just going to get your pick for right now. The rest of us will give our pick on this later. Ravens and Broncos.
I'm going to go Ravens.
Okay. So y'all have to stay tuned to see who everybody else is going to pick on that.
Very tight. I'm actually going to hang out with you guys a few more minutes, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers at the Patriots. Tom Brady going back to New England.
Tom is about to work them.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't see a way Tampa Bay loses this game.
Listen,
Tom
Bill
Brady
Belichick
break both his legs to win this game.
Bill Belichick might be one of the greatest defensive minds. If there's anybody who could come up with a scheme to slow Tom down and knows him best, it'll be Bill Belichick. But he's been walking around all week singing Tom's praises, talking about how great he is, saying how he could play to 50. Bill is scared to death that Tom is coming in there to put up like 70 points this week.
And the question is, those schemes that Bill has devised, he didn't practice with Tom there. You don't think Tom hasn't seen it? Tom has probably seen everything that he's done.
Oh, just to be clear, sorry, I ain't picking Tampa Bay. No,
it's just too many weapons.
And the other thing, the thing to point out here is Your quarterback is Mac Jones. You see what I'm saying? So where Mac Jones,
bro.
So who are you going to get? Like, there's the talent gap between those two is immense, right? Like, it's very immense. It's very wide.
It's almost like you have.
My hands are still going out, even though y'all can't see it. They're still going out. It's very wide.
Do you trust? It's like, do you trust Bill Belichick and his defensive genius against Tom Brady, or Todd Bowles and his aggressive attack of a defense against a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones?
I feel like Bill can mitigate some of what Tom Brady likes to do, but I believe Todd Bowles is going to be able to pretty much do what everybody else does against Mac Jones.
With newly acquired corner Richard Sherman on the team now. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah,
I got to lose about three scores. I got Tom Brady going out. I just think
I think it's gonna be a blowout too.
I think it's gonna be like we got done last week. Yeah,
I agree.
And Gronk's there. Gronk coming up there too, excited and happy.
I don't think Gronk's playing this week though. I think he's out.
Yeah, I think he is out.
He's hurt? Oh wow.
Yeah, I think he's out.
Great.
Wait, did you actually just make a shocked face about Gronk being hurt?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying they got like 7 other tight ends, so it's good.
Right, you forgot that O.J. Howard was on the team.
And Cameron Brake, so you still have tight ends. So I
was gonna say Cameron Brake and O.J. Howard might be the two heaviest people in the world that Gronk is hurt.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think Antonio Brown's still out, so the other guys get a chance to actually catch balls this week. Maybe Mike Evans will have some fantasy value for me this week.
The J.C. Jackson-Mike Evans matchup. I'm excited for that.
That could be interesting.
So Monday night, another game we'll talk about a little bit more later. The Raiders at the Chargers.
Personally, I hate both of those teams, but
I can understand that. We see that Broncos hat.
But it's hard to go against Derek Carr, especially if the Chargers go down. I don't see them coming back on that defense. I got to go with the Raiders, unfortunately. Pains me to say that.
I'm going to go with the Chargers because I do like what their rookie left tackle has been doing. Rashawn Slater has been playing lights out. Mike Williams has been a dog to start the season. And Casey Howard, granted, Casey is good. He's probably going to be matched up against Keenan. But I think they're not going to have enough. And it's going to be their first loss against Justin Herbert. And I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be like 38-35 or like 35-33 because I know there's going to be put up some points. Now, if the Raiders can time possess and really effectively run the ball, that gives them a better chance. But I think this is going to be Justin Herbert's like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this.
Well, and the other thing with the Chargers is they have Austin Eckler, who can also run the ball and play that time possession game too.
Well, it's only week 4. Based on the history, I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Oh Lord, he's going with the Raiders over here.
I'm going Chargers.
All right, my man, I'm with that.
And then
I'm going with the Raiders. Josh Jacobs is going to be back healthy. He's going to bang that ball on the Chargers. They can't stop Darren Waller. No one can. You can only hope to contain him.
Now, let me ask you this.
Hunter Renfrow is another piece that's playing well. Zay Jones is kind of like that guy that makes 1 or 2 big plays a game and then disappears the rest of the game.
This has nothing to do with your man crush on Derek Carr.
And their defense is actually playing well.
Fair.
First 6 weeks of the year, 5 to 6 weeks, the Raiders always come out and play amazing football. As the season goes on, their slope goes down.
So you don't
it's still week 4.
You don't give Derwin James a chance to neutralize Darren Waller?
No, I don't give him a chance to neutralize Darren Waller. No.
No, bro. Derwin James is a hell of an athlete. He is big as hell.
Darren Waller's
and it's physical with the man.
Here's the thing, man.
And they still got, I think, that safety Nasir or something like that as well, I believe.
If you're going to put both of them on Waller, then you can neutralize him half the time.
That's
Waller's
true.
a monster, dude. Waller is a complete, utter monster.
He's your definition of a wide receiver playing tight end. Because he sucks at blocking. He is horrible.
Hey, he's not there to block. He is not there to block.
Right, that's my point. He's
He
literally
is not there to block.
he's a lesser version of Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp could block a little bit, but he was mainly a slot wide receiver / tight end.
Okay. But he has way more athleticism than Shannon Sharp ever had. And this man has been through some things, so he got some inner fortitude too.
Oh, you know who he was drafted by, right? Perfect.
I know who let him go too.
And you know why?
That same team that drafted him.
We're doing fine without him.
You are.
Could we do a better with him?
I wasn't going to be the one to say it, but that's 100% true in my mind.
You said what?
But we digress.
All right, we do have one more game to pick, and then we'll dive into these deep dives. So next Thursday night, the Rams at the Seahawks. Both short week, both coming off of division games. Could be an ugly matchup.
You never know how these Thursday nights are going to go. I'm going to go Rams just because I like their roster better. No other reason.
I'm going to go Seahawks. I trust that offense. Their offense should be able to do a little bit more, even if they could take away one receiver or Ramsey.
This is the one week. This is the 1 week I will say the theatrics of Russell Wilson is going to come in live and show up against a team that is considered the best of the division and the best of the NFC, possibly.
I agree.
Little history lesson. The 49ers absolutely own the Rams. But you know who the Rams own?
Seahawks.
The Seahawks. So
back in
short week. Short week. The Seahawks are going to be coming off of a game against a very physical 49ers team on a short week. The Rams are going to be coming out of a matchup with the Cardinals, who aren't quite as physical. So I think the Seahawks go into this game maybe a little bit more beat up. And on a short week, I'm going to give the edge to Rams.
Why do I feel like you just use this as a way to elevate how physical your team is compared to?
Because that's what he did. That's why you feel
that was like 6 words out of the whole conversation.
I know, I'm just messing with you. Because
I was much more highlighting the point that we own the Rams. Why couldn't you point that part out?
Because they have no value in what we're talking about. They have no value.
I wasn't going to say it until I heard when you said Arizona's less physical. I was like, this man just wanted to show us that his team was physical.
Right. That's all. Yeah.
I mean, have you seen Arizona play? I mean, most of the teams not that physical.
They're finesse to the T, and I think that's. I don't really understand why everybody thinks every team in the world just needs to have a high-flying passing attack. When if you look at the teams that have won over the years, it's been a balanced attack. Be able to pass, but have the ball ran. Tom Brady talked about it all year last year. Run the football.
Hey, Joe, can you be our new offensive coordinator?
I will send you Greg Roman. Have that.
Because the thing is, you just said something that apparently no freaking offensive coach on my team understands. Run the freaking ball.
Look,
to your point.
Look, he brings up a point. Go hire Greg Roman, and then you'll be on the show begging somebody to throw a pass.
Well, not even that, but I think for running quarterbacks that are primarily used to dual threat, you need that guy like a Greg Roman in there so they can get acclimated to the cadences, to understanding the NFL playbook. Because to throw a playbook like Kyle Shanahan at Trey Lance may take some time. To throw a OC's guy like Kellen Moore to a guy like Justin Fields, that may take time. And I think a lot of people, when they try to do like Jalen Hurts and like Justin Fields, they keep comparing them to people like, oh, they're Russell Wilson-like or whatever. Russell Wilson ran the RPO for the first 4 years of his career before he started transitioning to be a primarily passing offense. So let's not understand and think that these guys came in ready to go. The RPO is meant for these college guys because that's what they're used to running in the college now. Once you get their cadences after a year or 2 years, then you transition over to somebody else that can expand the playbook. But for the core guys like them right now, get them something they're used to, and that help them build around that. Like that's just what I feel like with them. It's just not there.
Yeah, there's a key thing though that you didn't mention there.
My head coach doesn't understand that. Sad.
You gotta bring in a guy who actually can do the development part. And that's what I see happening a lot of times with these coordinators is they come in, they're a good fit for these young quarterbacks early, but they never developed them to the next level.
Well, to the point, so typically, like, for example, yes, like, to your point, Lamar's development coach is Josh Harris, who used to be the quarterback Bowling Green. That's his mentor. It's always been his mentor. And ever since his MVP year, he was with Josh Harris all the time. So while Greg was kind of implementing the offense, his mechanics, his footwork, all of the intangibles that need to be a great quarterback came from his mentor.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same person.
Yeah. But they have somebody in their life. They have somebody that they talk to. They do.
I mean, we all heard lead up to the draft because there was so much hype around who we were going to take, and Kyle Shanahan has a quarterback coach in John Beck that he apparently likes to work with, and so you had Justin Fields working, you had Trey Lance working with it, you had all these different guys going to work with him, and it just goes to show you that even people who are offensive coordinators or have a reputation for that, they still rely on somebody else to do some of that development work.
You talking about the former Arizona Cardinals quarterback, John Beck?
I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Is he?
Wow. Well, there you go, because all they told John Beck to do was throw it to Larry Fitzgerald. There you go.
I mean, there are some people who do, and then there are some people who teach.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you get somebody that does both.
I think underrated.
You have to watch your staff. When you're placing together a staff, that's what you have to worry about putting in place. If you have a young quarterback, you need to get a guy as the coordinator that's going to be the teacher and developer. That doesn't necessarily mean he has to be the play caller. But if you have almost as much experience as the quarterback that you're supposed to be helping work and grow and mentor, how is that really working?
Look at Kellen Moore, though. He's doing fine. His offenses have been top 5 ever since he's become an OC.
All right, guys, here's the thing. We've got about 15 minutes or so. Yeah. So what I want to do, we did already spend a little bit of time talking about the Chargers and the Raiders. So let's talk a few minutes here about the Rams and the Cardinals game. And then let's open it up for this Broncos and Ravens game.
So
the thing with the Rams and Cardinals, for me, I'll make it real quick. The Cardinals have dynamic wide receiver play. They have Kyler Murray, who's emerging as a guy that can play like not necessarily Russell Wilson, but that style of play where he can move around, buy time, make runs when he can, but also kind of smallish, so that makes it harder if he gets behind people to kind of read where he's going and things. So I think, to me, he's the difference maker why I'm thinking Arizona, because I feel like he's going to be able to do some things that the Rams are not going to be able to hang with. Jalen Ramsey can be a great corner all he wants. DeAndre Hopkins for 5, 6, 7 seconds? Nah, that's not happening. He's going to break free. He's going to make plays.
For me, I look at the matchup of the offensive line of the Arizona Cardinals versus the defensive line of the Rams, because we know what Aaron Donald can do. If Darnold can get a little pressure on Kyler Murray, that's going to force him to throw the ball sooner than he wants to, which could be Jalen Ramsey interceptions, or it could be sacks and field position. So it's really key for the Cardinals to block Aaron Donald. Don't let Kyler Murray get sacked.
To your point, though, my question is, which defensive lineman is going to kill it? Chandler Jones or Aaron Donald? Which one? They're both dynamic. Now, granted, Chandler Jones has not had a sack since the 5-sack game that he started in week 1. But Aaron Donald's been consistently generating pressure at the same time. And then to the degree, J.J. Watt is not looking bad as a sack artist with Chandler Jones. So it's like, to your point about the offensive line, which offensive line is going to be more beneficial to their quarterback? And that's why I kind of go with the Rams, because they actually care about running the football, and they do run the football. And any offensive line that is struggling, you can always help them get it together. Personal experience, running the football. If you run the football, you're going to get a chance to get your offensive line in order. And to me, Arizona doesn't run the ball. They don't do it.
So here's my look on this. If you look at what the Packers did Sunday, they went to the quick, short passing game. Why? Because that's the best thing you can do against a high pressure defense, right? Get the ball out of your hand. Sean McVay runs a quick pass offense. Matthew Stafford's been in the league long enough that he's going to be able to make the reads quick and he's going to be able to get the ball out of his hand. Therefore, they're going to put him in a position to be able to be more successful and avoid that pass rush. The Cardinals, on the other hand, they like to extend plays. They like to go downfield. They like to go for the explosive stuff. Where the Rams can get themselves into really big trouble against Kyler Murray is you have to set the edge. If you can get pressure with Aaron Donald up the middle, but you lose contain on the edge, you let Kyler Murray get out on the edge. As my co-host said, you're going to end up with DeAndre Hopkins out there with 5-6 seconds, and nobody, even Jalen Ramsey, is covering him for that long. So you have to keep him in the pocket. You have to make him see over top of those offensive linemen. You have to make him have that pressure in his face. You can do that, you win. If they don't keep outside contain and Kyler Murray can get out there and run and be able to see the field, it's going to be a nightmare.
Fair point, because back when the Rams got smacked by the Ravens, they were getting outside all the time. Aaron Donald became a non-factor because they were running outside the tackles, and he couldn't keep up. There was no way.
Yeah, I mean, you can run away from Aaron Donald. I mean, Aaron Donald, every time that they play the 49ers, he has quiet games. Why? Because we run an outside zone. And he's not very good against it. But if you're going to let Aaron Donald just sit there and rush you up the middle and that be it, you're going to be in for a long day. He'll do that to you all day.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to know how to play. That's why I say, man, the versatility of your quarterback, that makes a big difference, because the thing with Murray is he's going to be able to find the seam. He's a slight guy, so he's going to be able to find the seam a few times and break some plays. He's not scared to run, but I feel like even watching him last year, even watching him since he's been a rookie, right, he's kind of had that sense of, I'm going to throw it, but I'll make you think I'm going to run it, or I know I'm going to run from the beginning. And he does one thing a lot of the young quarterbacks that run don't do. He tucks the ball in. So it's hard to hit him and knock it out because he tucks the ball in. He's already low. He's already low to the earth. So I just, that's my difference
Lamar
maker.
Jackson. Say that for Lamar Jackson.
Hey, I need to say that to Jalen Hurts, too. I've been watching some of them runs he's been having, and, yeah, you need to get that ball out a little bit more, too, player.
He tucks it like this, where just easily just punch it out. It's right here. Yeah. He ain't got it right here. He's right.
Cool's dropping tips for everybody this week, man.
Hey, man, we need to help these guys, man. We want good quarterbacks for years to come. They got to be able to be real dual threats. Can't be a dual threat if you're fumbling the ball all the time.
All right, guys. For the last 8 minutes here, we're going to turn it over to you. So I'm going to give Joe 4 minutes to tell us all about why the Ravens are going to win. And at 4 minutes, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to pass it over to Jordan.
Gotcha. I was about to say, I thought I was going to be like, hey, home team, man, show me what it is. Listen, number one, in the John Harbaugh era, the Ravens are 3-1 at Mile High. So a lot of people were making a conversation about the weather and the air being thinner. But with this team's experience, John Harbaugh is already prepared to know what he needs to do for guys getting ready to get up here. Number two, I think by far this is the most complete and most sound offense and defensive team that the Broncos have faced this year. This isn't Zach Wilson or Danny Dimes. This is a Lamar Jackson ran offense that is all about him, with our rookie wide receiver making his debut this week, on top of another wide receiver who could have very well had a big game last week, but he had 3 bad drops. And so when I look at that Lions game, I see that the team was trying to open up the playbook because Mark Andrews got involved. Sammy Watkins is over 200 yards receiving in 3 games. I mean, and you're in the world as it is, they talk about Lamar Jackson and how he's got this and this. Lamar Jackson has 2 wide receivers over 200 yards in 3 games. Did you expect that? No. But you have them because he's starting to open up the playbook. I also think because they might be activating Le'Veon Bell, that is going to be a huge challenge for the Denver Broncos. I respect their defense. I have been a big fan of Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, and I know that Justin James is back there as one of the top safeties in the game. I just think that the way this offense is fine-tuned, it's not like it's with a rookie quarterback where they're still figuring itself out. It's not with like a Danny Dimes who's got new pieces in and a new system and everything like that. These guys know what they're about. You know what we're going to do. We're going to try to run it down your throat. We're going to try to hit you on a play action. You know what we're about. You just have to stop it. And I don't think they're going to be able to stop it in the way that people have said. Like, I've been watching reviews and seeing different things. A lot of people were saying that the Broncos are going to show the Ravens, because they had to need a 66-yard against Detroit, that they're not going to be a good test against this Denver defense. And I'm like, you can have that recency bias and think the last game is indicative of who you are. But for teams like this, you have to kind of understand where they're coming from. They have screw-ups. They have big-time bad games. The Ravens were 2-2 before they went 14-2. The Ravens, you figure it out. If you stick to your formula and you know what you can do, yeah, and I don't know. Jimmy Smith is back. Thank God. Thank the Lord. Because he's going to need help to go up against Cortland Sutton. I think the one person that's going to kill us is going to be Jerry Jeudy, because he's the fastest guy on the field, and we struggle when it comes to speed. But I think in the end, the Ravens are going to win. I got it 28-17.
Fair enough. I will say the whole talk here in Colorado and through the national media is that the Broncos have not played anyone. The teams that they have played are combined 0-10 if you count Jacksonville last night, but they are NFL teams. You look at our defense, that is what's going to set the tone in this week is our defense. We're second in the NFL, giving up 221.7 yards per game. You're going to need to rush the ball. We know that's what Lamar Jackson loves to do, is run the football. Problem is, Broncos don't give up a lot of rushing yards, 59.3 yards, and it's going to be hard to score on this defense, 8.7 points per game. We have Patrick Surtain, Kyle Furler, Justin Simmons in the secondary. You look at our linebackers, Von Miller. It sucks that Bradley Chubb is hurt, but we've got other people who are going to fill the void. Plus, in the middle, you have Shelby Harris. Now, if you go on the offensive side of the ball, Teddy Bridgewater has been unbelievable with his clock management. Yeah, I know they're not 50-yard passes down the field, but they're 5 to 10 yards, and that has actually helped. And it helps that the Broncos haven't been playing behind by 10 points. So we haven't really seen Teddy Bridgewater hurry up to the line. He's been able to do the clock management. Yeah, your defense is pretty good, but we can run the football with Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. We also have Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton to catch the football, as well as Noah Fant. But then if you look at the Ravens, like I said, you guys can only run the football. That's going to be tough. But if you get into the red zone, you have to score points. You guys have to. The Broncos have not done that well scoring touchdowns. They've been able to go down the field. But the problem is once we get into what I call the dread zone, even though that's the red zone, because it has been the dread zone this year, we're scoring touchdowns at 48.86% when we get in there. So 42.86% of the time we score touchdowns. I think it really boils down to, can the Broncos score touchdowns on the Ravens defense? That's what I'm worried about if we go down to the red zone, because we know the Ravens are going to put up points.
I'll give you that. Teddy Bridgewater has been very, very accurate. Very, very much accurate. I think he leads the league at 76%. I will give Melvin Gordon. What I will say is going to be interesting is that both teams run the football, which means both defenses should be prepared for it too. It just depends on how you run the football. Now, granted, last week, what stopped the Ravens from running the football is that the interior play of the guards, they were getting manhandled by Detroit's defensive front. A lot of the Ravens kind of run scheme is predicated on inside to outside. If you push it down, you kill them in the inside, they'll kind of condense the box that way, and then you hit them with the zone read on the outside. But if you stop that inside read, you're going to have a hard time, because when you see some of the RPOs, Lamar will either give the RPO and he'll make the wrong decision, and then we'll lose like 5 or 6 yards. I will say, if you don't come into this game thinking the Ravens can't throw the ball, not saying you, I'm talking about you may test him, but there's a lot better touch on his throws downfield. Like, aside from the overthrow they did to Andrews, the 3 drops of Hollywood and Sammy Watkins were beautiful throws. They were in stride. They just did not catch it. Those would have been. So I'm liking what I see, and it's like they're not taking 5 or 10 yard plays. They're doing 15 or 20. Justin Simmons is who I'm worrying about because he can cover very well. Very well.
The one thing I have, and this is just a question for you. I mean, I know Lamar Jackson is healthy, but how healthy is he? If he isn't 100%, that's still advantage Broncos. But I will say you guys do have the advantage in the special teams because of Justin Tucker.
He's full participation today. I mean, honestly, I think he just gets sore and then he just moves on. Because Lamar he hasn't got to that point where he has to realize, there's different ways to kind of stick it to a team than to some of the stuff that you do. You ain't got to do it. Like the 2 plays last game, I'm like, just go out of bounds. God damn, you'd have got 3 more yards if you went out of bounds. Why you got to truck him or something? Like, you don't got to worry about trucking him. You're not built like Cam Newton. You ain't built like Cam Newton. So.
All right, guys. Who are you picking? Are either one of you picking against your team?
No.
No.
All right. So we got 2 confident fans. Cool. You said you're taking the Ravens, right?
I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I think that when I look at these 2 teams, they both want to run the football. I think both defenses are going to try to stop the run. And when I ask myself which passing game am I more confident in being able to do anything, I'm going to give the edge to the Broncos. So I'm actually going to pick the Broncos to win in a very, very close game.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm going to pick the Ravens.
Okay.
The Ravens have Sammy Watkins, who's going to play better this week. Hollywood Brown has been playing a lot better this season. They have had some drops that they should have made. But the difference is they're going to use their tight ends. The Ravens are going to use their tight ends successfully, right? They haven't used them as much this year because number one, they've been running the ball pretty successfully, and they're going to pound that run game. You're going to have to see 3 running backs and Lamar Jackson running the ball. That's a lot for a defense to take on. And then you think about Lamar Jackson's showed us that he can make the little jump pass now with pretty solid accuracy. So when I look at these 2 teams, I believe a close game. I'm saying probably like 2 points, right? I'm not saying I don't believe either team's going to go out because, as Jordan has said, the Broncos' defense is playing really well, and you have the ultimate game manager who seems revitalized there in Teddy Bridgewater. So I think the difference to me when I look at it is I say I think teams are going to be pretty solid in most places even. I think the Ravens are going to be able to run a little bit more just because of how many different bodies they're going to throw at you, including the quarterback. So RPOs, when they run a couple of those, are going to be very devastating because you really have no idea where the ball is going. Also, I think that a lot of people discredit Lamar Jackson as an actual pocket passer. That's the area that he's been improving in every year at a solid pace. He's looking good. He's throwing good balls now. A lot of these incompletions, as Joe said earlier, they're not because Lamar Jackson is not putting the ball where it needs to go. It's just a matter of them adjusting to, especially in the case of Sammy Watkins, who is newer to the team, adjusted to the way he delivers the ball and how to catch it. So I think you're going to see a lot of those things get cleaned up. That's why I think a slight edge, but not a big edge, but a slight edge I'm giving Baltimore.
And I do have to go back to work a little bit, but I will say out of last week, there was only one bad decision. And that was an interception on Hollywood Brown. You could have threw that away or found some way, but I'll say of every target, I didn't look back and be like, ooh, no. It was like.
Well, we are split on who's going to win this game.
Yeah.
But the one thing we all agree on is it is going to be a game you do not want to miss because it's going to be a great game.
And I appreciate Joe, you and Jordan for being able to get on. I know you got to, get back to work, man. So appreciate you taking the time to hop on with us and talk. The Ravens again. Always great to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate I'm happy to be here. It's an honor. Got a chance to talk to another Bronco fan. And it's always good to see their insight because I don't exactly follow them, but it's good to, see certain things from other people. So I appreciate it, guys.
Yep, definitely appreciate both you guys coming. Easy E didn't get to you, but saw you over in the comments. So appreciate you tuning in tonight. For everybody else who joined us live, appreciate y'all joining us. And we will see y'all next Friday. Be here 7 p.m. when we go live every Friday night.
All right, you guys. Y'all be safe. All right?
We are the
play